help me out? One of the questions that came up on the internet when we were doing sort of what we call kettlebell work, hip work, and then I showed a little bit of pistol retention, a little bit of rifle retention. The question was, well, that's all well and good when you're playing games out here and there's movements and he grabs out here and I'm doing all kinds of work. I get it. But people, if you think about it, when he wants to pull that thing in tight off him and really crank it in here tight like this. And that could very well take place. And maybe a natural, so I'm holding here and he pulls it in. So there's a tendency right here, can you get right in here, Tom, is for me to resist that and try to pull it back out. Don't let me pull it out. Get that out. Okay. I mean, you just own me. You just own me. Okay, so the idea that I'm going to get it out one-handed or two-handed is, you can prove it to yourself, the futility of that. Once they get into that strong, fetal, tight, locked-in position, and I try to oppose him, it's going to be diminishing returns, especially if he's bigger and stronger. It could be female, male, it could be just me against Dean. Dean's not going to let it happen. I don't let anything happen. If I miss it, I miss it on film, it's okay. So one of the things I want to talk about, we're going to slow it down so you can see it, is watch my feet, and what happens is I'm going to put it in further than he wants to go. No, look at his hips, okay? So when I recognize, whether I'm one or two-handed, when I recognize he's going in, I actually overstep him and I fold his sacrum. So, sort of back to the kettlebell analogy, I hold on to all that, hold on the gun. I formulate the kettlebell right here and I get up and over him and I shove it into his hip. Now, of course, I want to keep my pistol through the process. And I don't want you to let it go, but for whatever reason, it's very difficult for you to hold on. Agreed?
Yes.
So slow. We're going to go slow first. I go in, I step, I pull this hip, and I do a drop, and I brace, and you don't have the grip. And you go. Now this is starting from static, where I'm not moving. Again, tight. Okay, tight. Don't let me move it. Don't let me let it drive. Don't let me move. Don't move. And I go, oh, that ain't working. Watch my foot. I step, I get him up, and I drop my hip. I got the kettlebell through his sacrum. Put my wrist in tight. Pull it in really tight. It's the same exactly it is, just don't have a tool. So I go like this. I drop the heavy kettlebell on him. You're trying to hold on, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, hold on as hard as you can. All right, I relax. Throw the kettlebell. Pop. Well, the only difference now is I have an object that he wants. I move in with him, fold the sacrum, drop it with a sudden drop, and that's what happens. That's one idea. Let's slow it down. Another option, I'm going to go left-handed so you can see. He pulls it in tight. There's a desire to go in there with my other hand all the time. Well, guess what? His mind's here, and my mind's here right now in this scenario. I'm not going to do that. I am going to Velcro the weapon a little bit deeper than he wants because he can't go any further. That thing, it's safe from that direction. He doesn't really want to come back out because it opens up options for me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. He doesn't like that. He went in there, and I go, that's fine. Let's just park it in there and glue it on with Velcro. Look at, he's on his heels and everything. Well, what's this? What's this? What's this? See, he's getting tired just because I'm leaving him on his heels, and I go, you know what? I don't like this. If you're an eye gouger, a throat hitter, okay, it could be all weapons free. See, I'm beating him up while he's standing on his heels. The key thing in there is to shift with him and get him in there. Watch this scenario. I am going to bounce his head a little bit out in front of his toes. I'm going to raise his head a little bit further out of his toes, and then I'm going to bounce his head again. It's like bing, bing, bing with a basketball. We go from this side. Boom. Shift him out. Down, up, down. Very difficult for you.
Oh, yeah.
Dean is strong. If it head happens to be up, okay, it's up, then I go back to what we were talking about. Keep it tight, keep it tight. Drop the kettlebell. This is good for me. So those are some options. So I have, let's just chill out on the tension. If I am confident enough to Velcro this thing in there, and I can free up the rest of my mind. So I got 10, 15% of my resources tied up in just making sure he doesn't like that. Now even when you try to get it out, see, because I'm just expanding, it's really hard, right? Yeah. I'm not going with tension, but I'm just like expanding. It's like, yeah, you want to go further, you want to come to me, and I'm sticking it in there. Now all of this is free. I'm like, yeah. If I'm a kind of guy that carries a knife like I used to, fixed blade, he's getting cut. Okay? I even have time to get a folder out and finish him. But it's a little unrealistic. But I go, all right, dude, here it comes, right? Here it comes. Here's your problems coming while you're holding this thing here. Now I would venture to guess. Go ahead. What you're putting in real tight. Most people don't want to stand in front of a guy that's got all these weapons loaded. But that's essentially what's happened here. You've overcommitted to this, and I choose not to go there with you on commitment. I'm like, yeah, have it, stick it, that's great. I'm like, all I'm doing in my mind is fighting a guy that's standing in front of me like this, right? Mm-hmm. So strategically, I'm thinking about it differently. Philosophically, I'm thinking about it differently. I'm not looking for some mechanical thing to yank this thing back out. All right, so I have the fold his sacrum option and drop the kettlebell over his sacrum. There's many of these. I have the stick him, grab his head, bounce in front of his toes, and then grab him again. So I'm bouncing him like a basketball, not up and down, but going like this. That's important that the bounce is moving. Now, sort of a more subtle one it's good to play with. Probably wouldn't use it in combat, but it helps me be aware that I don't need to use these big mechanical tools. You're going to put it inside yourself. Like you're just going to have to crack it in there, crack it in there. Watch. What's happening? Do you know what's happening?
No.
Really get it from me. Get it from me. Get it. What's happening?
I'm falling.
What I'm doing is, in my mind, as he pulls, this thing's like a hot iron, and this is ice cream. And I just keep on putting it further and further and further into him. As it melts into him, he is pulling it inside of himself. And what I do is I'm shifting his weight over his sacrum, and it looks stupidly fake. That's why I don't normally put stuff like this on the internet. People are interested in these kinds of solutions. They're like, hit him here, here. Okay, I can do that. Those are great. Boom, boom, all the mechanical solutions. Those are great. Use them. It's still built on the idea that I put it into him. Take it away from yourself. Oh yeah, see? I'm aware of this. Now look at yourself. So your options of taking it away aren't very good. Leaving it in there isn't very good. It's not a good idea. You should have brought your own pistol to the fight, Dean. Don't try to. There we go. That's the best way to take it away from us, right? So all kidding aside, I'm using my own weight transfer to move his sacrum. The closer he puts the pistol to the sacrum, the better for me. I can also disassociate myself from the grab and realize all my other weapon systems are available. I can put it inside of him and take that whole head and that whole system and just bounce it like a basketball. I'm still not struggling on this side. And finally, the more relaxed approach is I go into him and I just, that looks completely fake, I get it, but it's because I'm so relaxed that you can't get any tension on me.
No, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there for you to grab. Now I'm going to do the same thing and get tight. Okay? Just pushing. I let the redwood tree fall. I cut enough of the wedge out on the trunk that it goes like that. What am I doing? I am shifting his sacrum back, shifting his sacrum back. If he gets wider or some other stance, see, that's not the place anymore. It's over here. See, it's even easier for me.
Yeah.
It's so easy for me. Take his head down. This is good. It's stuck in there. Here's your mechanical work. Have at it. Down, up, down. There's your mechanical work. There he is on the edge of this, and I'm working. So these are just ideas. I could go for an hour on this, but hopefully those 3 ideas of reaching through his sacrum and mechanically attacking him and bouncing him potentially, or eventually shifting your weight and having enough confidence and enough feel to just keep on melting that pistol into his center of gravity, and you're working super hard, but you can't stand up.
Yeah.
And that's everybody flies the bullshit flag there.
No.
But I invite them to come in and go, no, try it. And they go, what just happened? But that's why it's happening. I'm taking his center of gravity. Any tree that's leaning over, gravity takes over. Big heavy weight in his own sacrum, along with my weight, takes him over the heels to the rear triangulation point, which we've talked about in the other 2 videos. All right, thanks. Keep the questions coming. We'd love to answer them. Thanks.